Tuesday, February 8, is No Calls Day, according to a group of notable Ghanaians who are doing this in opposition to the ongoing SIM re-registration across the country. Now, the process has been fraught with system challenges and network failure, leaving many subscribers frustrated and wary. The queues, however, keep forming because Ghanaians are racing against time to meet the March-ending deadline for the exercise, beyond which you cannot make calls or text or even carry out some financial transactions because your line will be blocked. Concerned mobile network subscribers have made some demands. Let's look at those demands. They are first of all calling the National Communications Authority should immediately withdraw its directive for mobile network customers to re-register their SIM cards by 31st of March 2022. They also, when the appropriate legal frame is in place, a re-registration exercise can be done without having subscribers spend productive hours and several days in long queues in the midst of a ravaging COVID-19 pandemic. Point 3 says there's understandably a need to eliminate crime, but the fight against criminals must be within the law. And the very final point says, we therefore demand that the NCA and mobile network operators must come up with a better and more innovative way of re-registering the SIM cards by first amending existing law, and secondly, to do so without the current inhumane re-registration process we are going through. So the group includes a former Kumbungu Member of Parliament, Ras Mubarak. There's also the Dean of the UG School of Law, Professor Raymond Atuguba, President and Vice President of Imani Africa, Franklin Kujo, and Kofi Bentil, private legal practitioner Samson Ladi Anyanini, investigative journalist Manasseh Azriawine, and Salom Brantier. And both of them, Salom and Manasseh, joined me via Zoom for some discussion on this. Let me start with you, Salom. You indicated that if the NCA and the MNOs fail to heed your demands, you will be, this will be the beginning of a planned boycott, a series of planned boycotts. Safe to say that since you raised these issues, the NCA has not moved to address your concerns?
Yes, to a very large extent, the NCA has not really moved much in terms of trying to sort of reconcile their position with the position of the general populace with regard to process and how everything is being conducted. Draconian with respect to the fact that it's even difficult to even to get the main prerequisites for the registration of the cards, which is the Ghana card. There are delays, there are queues to even get the Ghana card, even before you be able to go to a collection to go capture your pay. It's in on a lot of people, and the assumption that the situation in areas persist in peri-urban and rural because we are in a situation like this that's not always up. And we don't even know, for most of us who are even more technical, we don't even know how the data that is captured is processed to ensure that this registration isn't subject to certain leakages or abuse of our personal data.
Let me come to you, Manasseh. So what form will this take tomorrow? How do you expect Ghanaians to join you in this boycott?
Well, we expect Ghanaians to, from 6 a.m. to midday, put off their phones. So if you call all my lines tomorrow morning up to midday, you are not going to get me. We know this comes at a cost to people. As a journalist, I use my phone a lot, but we are also in a society that we must begin to set up and fight for our rights. And there is no way in this world that you fight without losing anything. There's a cost to everything. But the general impact we intend to make, the gains we intend to make from all these actions will go a long way to benefit all of us. It is better to lose or to decide to keep off or not even receive any call for 6 hours, than to lose your right to make phone calls at all. The problem in this country, as we all know, is that by the 31st of March, if nothing is done about this directive and what is happening, a lot of people are going to lose their right to make phone calls and to even use mobile money and other transactions or services that are provided by these telcos. And as Salom said, there are people who are still queuing and struggling to be able to get their Ghana card. And if you don't have your Ghana card, how are you able to register in order not to lose your network? So we are asking as many Ghanaians as possible to join this crusade and campaign. This is the first of such activities. And we hope that those in charge of the affairs of this country and the telecom service providers, network providers, will listen and do something about this. We are mature enough to be able to have a humane and civilized form of pre-registration without people going through what they are currently being subjected to.
Salom, this is 6 good hours, quite a lot to ask of some Ghanaians if you ask them. Do you get a sense that Ghanaians are in with you on this?
For most actions like this, it usually always starts with what people think is ludicrous or people think is not possible.
Well, we seem to have a poor connection.
In activism. The first, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, I'm saying that in activism, the first step is always the most important. Usually, it seems very ludicrous when you start, but once it gains momentum and people also subscribe to the same sentiments, then it creates a groundswell that actually creates a change in policy or a change in approach by those who are in charge. So yes, 6 hours sounds drastic. 6 hours sounds laughable for some people. And of course, even the fact that people begin to think about it or rethink the situation means that there is traction going on, and we expect that as time goes on, more people would also join in. And the reason is that it is to simulate the kind of losses that telecoms are going to expect, or the economy is going to expect, when they actually proceed to the full shutdown of numbers that have not been registered. If today they are laughing at subscribers who want to participate in this boycott, then they should imagine the loss to the nation if more people are actually robbed of the chance to use their SIM cards, which is their bona fide property, for activities that are legitimate and are, as a matter of fact, they are right to do. And this is the beginning of such, like Manasseh said earlier, and like we all put it, that we want to look at a situation where in the very near future, if there is still no consultation, we will cascade this till it really becomes a dent or a mark in terms of the national telecom landscape. So this is the first one, and we are appealing to all of those who sort of agree with where we are coming from, our approach, to take this step with us as the first step, or to create a groundswell for others to join in and then support this cause, which is to benefit all of us subscribers, because there are people, for some reason or the other, who would not be able to go through these processes or these steps. And it is through no fault of theirs, and they should not be punished for something that is basically their rights as of now.
For me, we decided to conduct a poll on this just to gauge the views of Ghanaians on this boycott scheduled for Tuesday, tomorrow. So we asked Ghanaians whether or not they are willing to participate in this boycott. We put up a poll on Twitter. We'll put up the results. So the question is, a group called the Concerned Mobile Network Subscribers have declared tomorrow a no-calls day to protest the ongoing SIM re-registration exercise by the NCA. Are you willing to join this boycott? So the options: yes, no, and indifferent. And this was just a few hours to the bulletin. We'll bring you the results after the bulletin. But We'll bring you the result after the interview. But just a quick one, Manasseh. Tomorrow from 6 to 12, are you expecting, does this also include the use of data? I mean, you've talked about phone calls. Are you also talking about, does it include the use of data?
Well, my phones are all going to be off. So whatever that uses SIM card is going to be off. They are registering the SIM cards. That's the bone of contention here. So I won't be on WhatsApp. I'm not going to accept voice calls. Whatever that has to do with my mobile phone and SIM card will be off throughout this period.
Very well. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us here on Joy News Prime. And the poll is still ongoing. And so you can just go onto our Twitter handle. So the results so far, with just a few votes in, 63.2% saying yes, they're willing to join this, and 22.4% saying no. We have some 14% who are quite indifferent about this. So go onto our social media handles and you can participate in this poll.